Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. I'm Zach. Make sure you head over to our website, extremeoutfitters.com, for all of your archery and bow hunting needs. Today we've got a comparison video for you. So we get a lot of questions. Whisker Biscuit versus drop away rest. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to take and do a comparison between the two. We're going to look at one, how well they each tune, and then two, see if there's a speed difference between the two. So we're going to start with the Whisker Biscuit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount it on this brand new Bowtech Carbon 1X. Great tuning bow, great bow for this past year. So we're gonna see how the two compare. We're gonna be doing the test with this Easton Axis 5mm arrow. So this is set up for this bow. This is a 28-inch arrow. It's a 300 spine with a standard insert with 100 grains up front, and it's fletched in the back with a 2-degree right helical with the AAE Max Stealth. So this is a 70-pound bow. It's going to be set up specifically for me at 28.5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and get started and see how well it tunes first, and then see what kinds of speeds we're putting up. So we've already got the bow leveled. We're using our Hamskea levels here. I've got this Whisker Biscuit mounted, and we are going to start by tying our knock set and D-loop. So we'll get our arrow level on there. We want this arrow level and run it right through the burger hole. We tie a knock set on above and below the knock. And this helps to eliminate any knock pinch, and then it's a good reference point whenever we need to put a new D-loop on your bow. We don't have to start all over. Makes it very, very simple. So right there is almost perfectly level. And that is right through the burger hole, so that's where we're gonna run it. One of the biggest questions is there a speed difference between the Whisker Biscuit and your drop away rest? So we will answer that question today and see. All right, we got that first knock set tied. We're gonna go ahead and tilt this down. Tie the second. We like to leave a little bit of space between the knock and each of these sets so that at full draw, there is no knock pinch, because that can impact the flight of your arrow. All right, and on to the D-loop. And we always tie the top burn away from a right-handed or the shooter's face. So if you're right-handed, that burn's gonna be off to the right on the top, and then it's opposite on the bottom. So this is gonna go through, and the bottom burn will be towards the shooter's face. All right, we got that tied. Got our D-loop pliers. Come in here, cinch it down. So we're gonna leave that level on. We're gonna just recheck the level of this bow once more. Pretty close right there. Go ahead and check, make sure. Almost perfect. We run it 13/16 from the riser. So we've got all that. It's pretty close, it looks like. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put it on the draw board now, check timing on it. Then we'll shoot it through paper and see if there's any adjustments that we actually need to make. So let's go do that real quick. let's see what this bow is pulling. And then make sure, more importantly, these cams are rolling over in time. This is a little safety piece we put on there just in case the D-loop were to, for whatever reason, break, because things happen. So there's always a safety in place. And timing is spot on, perfect. So we're pulling 68.88 pounds according to this scale. So that'll work. And now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put actually a new piece of paper up here real quick. And the moment of truth, we'll see what adjustments we need to make. Everything looks good. Bow feels good. Okay, so we are slightly knock left by about, I'd say, ½ inch. So we know that the center shot on this bow is perfect. So we are going to make adjustment in the actual cams on this bow versus making all of our adjustments in the rest in the center shot and throwing center shot way out. We want to keep it where it's at 13/16, and we're going to make our adjustments in our actual cams using Bowtech's deadlock cam technology. So I'm going to grab an Allen key real quick. All right, so we've got our Allen key here. So what we're going to do is we're going to unlock the set screw, and we're going to turn this in 1/8 inch increments. So very small adjustments in the cam. And because we have a knock left tear, I believe is what I said, we are going to turn this clockwise, which is going to move that cam to the left. So we unlock that, and we are going to take and do some very small adjustments on both the top and the bottom. All right, we're going to relock those down, and now we're going to shoot it again. So let's see. All right, so we're going to make one more adjustment on it again. You're going to take all right. All right, so we got rid of our left and right tear. Now we are just a little bit knock high. So we're gonna make, and we know timing's good, so we're gonna make that little bit of adjustment in our rest. Grab our tool. All right. All right, so pretty dang close. But one thing with this Whisker Biscuit is there is constant contact with this arrow has to pass through this rest. So any imperfections in your form or anything are definitely amplified by the rest itself. So that's definitely one thing to consider, especially when you're doing any kind of distance shooting or anything like that. That constant contact definitely can impact the flight of your arrow and the tear clearly, because we shot it a couple times. We got the left and right tear out of it by adjusting the deadlock cam. And then we had to make a slight adjustment in the rest to move it up to get rid of that knock high tear, and we did. But if there's any deviation in your grip or anything like that, it can definitely impact the tear and paper. So keep that in mind. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna leave this setup how it is, this D-loop and everything, and we're gonna slap on this drop away rest and see if there is any kind of deviation. But before we do that, we need to shoot the chronograph. So let's see what the speed looks like on this. We're gonna shoot this through it real quick and see what the speed looks like. So we gotta remember this number. We're gonna compare it to the number of the drop away and see if there is any deviation. So. .269.3 is the number for the Whisker Biscuit with that 454 grain arrow at 28.5 inches. So 269.3, that's the number we need to remember. And then we're gonna shoot it again and see what the difference is, if there is any difference. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this Whisker Biscuit off, which a little bit frustrating at times, tuning, especially if you have any imperfections in your form and it doesn't have the same micro adjustability that our drop away rest has. So we're gonna put this on here. This is our ripcord ratchet. We're gonna mount it up real quick. And so we can get it lined up perfectly. All right, let's reconfirm everything's level. It's almost perfect, and then we want to check again, make sure it's 13/16 from the riser. It's almost perfect, it's pretty close. Now we're going to run this cable, because this is a limb driven option, so we're going to run this on the bottom of our limb. So a little bit more moving parts than your Whisker Biscuit, but should get a little bit more performance and easier tunability. Than with your Whisker Biscuit. All right, let's go shoot this thing. All right. and a bullet hole the first shot. So if you look at it, we got a decent tear out of our Whisker Biscuit up here. Fine-tune adjustment takes a little bit more, in my opinion. And that was the first shot out of this drop away rest. So everything was set up again, 13/16 from the riser, leveled, the bow was in time. A drop away rest, to me, it just, honestly, they're a little bit easier to tune and set up and a little bit faster. And then the bow tech makes it great as well with their deadlocked cam technology. Obviously, we had to take and shim the cam over a little bit to get that left tear out of it. We were able to do that with just the turn of an Allen key. So very, very easy. So again, I don't think there's much difference as far as noise in them. This is very quiet. And then the Whisker Biscuit was quiet. But with the Whisker Biscuit, one of the major things you have to consider is the amount of time that that arrow is in contact with that rest. If there's any form issues, that arrow has to travel through that rest so it can throw the flight off of that arrow and cause your tear in your paper to be off even though the bow may be in tune. So that's really one of the big things to consider, especially if you're shooting any kind of distance or you're shooting fixed blade broadheads. Any form imperfections or any perfections in the setup of that bow is going to be amplified with a fixed blade broadhead. So now let's finish this up. Let's shoot this through, if I can get this heavy paper tuner out of the way, the chronograph, and see if there's a speed difference. So the initial, still in the chronograph, 269.3 out of the Whisker Biscuit. Let's see, same arrow weight, same draw length, same setup. Let's just see if there is a difference. 269.3, no difference whatsoever. So we've done a test in the past with this. We saw maybe a deviation of 1 foot per second, but even with that little bit of helical on that vein on the back with that 2-degree right helical, there is virtually no speed difference. So if you think speed is the issue, that is not the issue with the Whisker Biscuit by any means. Clearly you're getting the same exact speeds through the Whisker Biscuit and the drop away rest. The major or more concerning part potentially for some people could be the tuning, the setting up the bow with that Whisker Biscuit and getting a good arrow flight due to the constant contact of the arrow having to pass through that biscuit. So I'm curious, what do you guys think? Who's shooting a Whisker Biscuit? It's tried and true, it's been around forever. We sell a lot of them. We put a lot of them on a lot of bows and they're a great option for some people. But when you look at the two, there's clearly a little bit of difference in tunability in my opinion. So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. What are your thoughts? How do you compare the Whisker Biscuit to a drop away rest option? Drop your comments in the comments below and let us know. And as always, we appreciate you guys watching. Follow us along. Let us know any other video ideas that you've got. And let us know what you think of the Carbon 1X. Great bow, tunes good. Clearly Bowtech has done a great job with their deadlock cam technology. Again, appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you in the next video.